Hey everybody, grab your controllers. I'm going to give you an overview tonight of how the first round of my Nintendo Switch game off went. The plan was, after finishing the last game I played, Final Fantasy VII, to find something new to play and try to find the best thing to play by playing all my old games against each other. And it gets a little use out of the backlog, right? Lots of people have a huge backlog and don't know what to do with it. This is one thing you can do. So, I'm just going to go through all the results really fast. I'm not going to make this a super long Periscope. I was hoping to do a little streaming of an actual game or something, but my capture card says to that idea. So, let's go through it. In the first round, the first pairing was Code of Princess and Rock of Ages 2. Rock of Ages 2 blew Code of Princess away. Code of Princess is a decent game. Rock of Ages 2, really fun. I'm looking forward to playing it again, actually. Next up was Lego Harry Potter and Tiny Barbarian. That one was kind of close. Tiny Barbarian took it. It was just, these games are only getting played for 30 minutes at a time. That game is a lot of fun in just 30 minutes. Harry Potter was kind of footsying around, doing a lot of tutorial type stuff. Octahedron and Fortnite. Octahedron's a pretty fun platforming sort of puzzle game. You can create your own platforms. Fortnite, everyone knows Fortnite. It won. It was a hard choice, kind of, but Octahedron just turned a little too puzzly, a little too hardcore of a platformer. Like, I don't mind a challenge, I can take it, but since I'm judging these on how much fun they are in 30 minutes, Fortnite was more fun. Space Ribbon and Mega Man Legacy Collection 2. Space Ribbon's a really cheapo indie futuristic racing game. It's actually kind of fun, even though it is very basic. But Mega Man Legacy Collection 2 took it easily. The Big Journey and Color's End, two indie games, both pretty fun. And Color's End got kind of fatiguing after a while. It's a color matching puzzle game. It's free to play on Switch. Check it out. It's pretty fun. But the Big Journey won out. That's sort of a rolling platformer, kind of like a 2D Super Monkey Ball a little bit. Wonder Boy and the Dragon's Trap versus Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Super Smash Bros. Won, and I expected it to. But Wonder Boy was actually fairly close. I didn't love the game when I first played it. It reminds me too much of scroll and explorer games like Metroid, the Metroidvanias of the world. But it was actually really fun. In the end, though, Smash Brothers took that. Mecho Tales and Diablo 3, no contest. Mecho Tales is probably the worst game in my collection. Although it had its moments. I had a stream of Mecho Tales, but the sound was terrible, so I won't be posting that. Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle versus Snipperclips. 30 minutes just wasn't long enough to really get into Kingdom Battle. I spent half my time just trying to figure out how to get into the correct world again. Snipperclips actually had problems in half an hour too. I was stuck on a tough puzzle that took me most of the half hour, but still edged out Mario and Rabbids. Tumblestone and Minecraft. Tumblestone's kind of a puzzle, a match 3 Tetris-y, puzzle-y game. I'm not in love with it. Minecraft took that one with ease. Frederic 2, rhythm music game versus Super Mario Odyssey. Super Mario. You know what? This was actually kind of close, but I happened to beat Frederic too in the half hour I played it. Not that it's only a half hour game, but I'd already done a bunch of play sessions. I only had 2 songs left to go, so Super Mario Odyssey took that one. Shantae, Half Genie Hero, and NES. I wasn't ready for NES hard games. I played a bit of, I think it was Shadow of the Ninja. It was fun. Shantae just has all the extra trimmings, like the old graphics and stuff. The gameplay is really good on a lot of those old NES games, but they're not as... but Shantae's just got all those extra, the music, the graphics. There's maybe a little more going on with the gameplay. Yooka Laylee and Astral Chain, one of the toughest competitions in the first round. Yooka Laylee is just a 3D platformer, reminiscent of Banjo-Kazooie especially, but all kinds of games, Super Mario 64, Super Mario Odyssey, and so forth. Astral Chain is like a crazy anime, futuristic police story where you're trying to catch monsters, and Astral Chain had a lot of potential, but I was still sort of playing through some of the tutorial. Yooka Laylee, I'm already on to the second level in that game, and so there's just more going on there. It's also just a fun game. Pokemon Shield versus Void Space Racing. I mostly don't have a lot of RPG type games on the list here because having just finished Final Fantasy VII, I didn't really want to play another. But I gave Pokemon Shield a try because I haven't played it at all yet. It's actually on my wife's list. And it managed to edge out Void Space Racing, even though it had the same problem as a lot of games like Astral Chain and Mario and Rabbids, where I really didn't make a lot of progress on Pokemon Shield in just 30 minutes. Void Space Racing was a lot of fun in 30 minutes. I think Pokemon basically won on potential. Final Fantasy X-2, the other RPG that made it on the list, and Jam and Earl. Final Fantasy X-2, what a crazy ride the first 30 minutes of that game is, but it is mostly tutorials. I didn't feel like I made it anywhere. The new Jam and Earl game, a lot of fun. It won out without a really tough competition. Ninjin Clash of Carrots and Katamari Damacy Reroll. I might put a stream of these 2 games up at some point on YouTube. You might want to find my YouTube channel. I'll have to remember the name of it for the next time I'm doing one of these live ones. Anyways, this pairing was really close actually. Ninjin is a pretty fun little fighting indie game. Katamari, a sort of cult classic of rolling balls around. Katamari was really frustrating me at first. I was not prepared for the controls again, and so I lost on my first try. But I enjoyed coming back on the second try so much that it took it. Pet Shop Snacks and Tetris 99. Pet Shop Snacks is a cheapo mobile type game that I paid maybe $4 or $5 for on Switch to appease my daughter one day when she was looking for... she was really begging us to buy her this sort of Nintendogs looking game on the system, but that particular game was $60 or $65. And the reviews are not that hot. So Pet Shop Snacks is just a basic like multitasking game. You can see how it would work really well on an iPad or whatever. But she loved it. It's fun actually for a cheap little game, but Tetris 99 is more fun. sort of Tetris with a battle royale twist. Mutant Muds Collection and Stardew Valley. Actually like the NES. Mutant Muds is just so challenging. The platforming is so precise in a lot of areas that I just didn't have that much fun with it in 30 minutes. It's a game that I could go back and play some more for sure. And I did have fun playing there's a little puzzle spin-off game on there that I played a few minutes of while I was at it. But Stardew took it. Stardew Valley being a farming sim, like maybe like the Harvest Moon series, if you've ever seen those. Kid Tripp versus the Super NES collection. So for the Super NES, I played a little bit of tennis, which my daughter, generously told me I sucked at, and Super Ghouls and Ghosts, which I enjoyed a lot. Kid Tripp, a very basic, very challenging infinite runner game. Well, not infinite runner, I guess. It has levels that are finite length, but a very challenging game without a lot of choices or anything. I was so frustrated I didn't even want to play it for the full half hour. We're much worse than that. This is too hard category than even Mutant Muds or the Shadow of the Ninja. Super Ghouls and Ghosts isn't exactly an easy game either, but it was more fun for some reason. Mad Age and This Guy and Hardway Party. Two cheapo indie games. Hardway Party, actually, I was saying Mecho Tales might be my worst game. Hardway Party would be another candidate. But Hardway never convinced me it was going to be anything but a really simple mobile game experience, and I only paid a couple of bucks for it. Anyways, it was still reasonably fun for half an hour. I was actually surprised it managed to last half an hour. Mad Age is like a Bomberman clone walking around blowing stuff up. It's only one player, which kind of sucks, but they've got some pretty cool puzzles. It's worth checking out on the cheap, and it won that round, so we'll see how it does next. Asphalt 9, a free-to-play, very manipulative racing game, but pretty fun and looks pretty cool. It managed to beat Crypt of the Necrodancer. That hurt, because a lot of people love Crypt of the Necrodancer. I wanted it to win, to be honest. But Asphalt is just really fun. It's very well done. I'm sure at some point it's going to get boring and it's going to be, oh, you should really spend some money to keep on playing the game and enjoying it. But it's good for a half hour. It's really good. Trying 2 versus Sega Genesis Classics. Trying 2 is a puzzly 2D platforming game where you have 3 heroes, a knight, an archer / thief, and a wizard. You can switch between them. Like I said, it's quite puzzly. It's kind of reminiscent of old 16-bit games like Flashback or Out of This World, where the goal was to give like sort of realistic graphics and a sort of realistic game world. It's not a fast, action-packed platformer. I'm getting a little too deep into the weeds here. Sega Genesis Classics, on the other hand, is a whole bunch of old Sega Genesis games. I played a little bit of, I've already forgotten the name again, Galaxy something, a 3D flying pew 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 spaceship game, and that was fine. But then I picked on Landstalker, an isometric action jumping fighting or sword fighting RPG type game. When I say isometric, I mean the map is like a diamond shape and you jump around on it and fight enemies. Feels a lot like The Legend of Zelda and a little like old games like Equinox and Solstice. I like the genre. and this is a pretty good example. It really kicked Trine 2's butt, honestly. I will. In the next round, I'll probably try to play a little bit of something else, but I'll probably give Landstalker a good chunk of the time again. Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Edition and Conduct Together. Street Fighter is Street Fighter. I don't think I need to talk about it. The collection has all the arcade games from Street Fighter 2 through 3. Conduct Together is a mobile game where you're trying to put the brakes on trains and control switches in the train tracks. It's a sort of rub your belly and pat your head game where you're trying to really keep track of what's going on and not get the trains to crash into each other. It's pretty challenging and really fun. But Street Fighter is even more fun in 30 minutes. Celeste and River City Girls. Celeste, the hidden gem hardcore platformer that has you climbing up a mountain and, overcoming your sadness or something. River City Girls being a what if the River City ransom game from the NES, a fighting brawler game. What if the girlfriends were the ones being the heroes and the boyfriends were the ones kidnapped? River City Girls is really funny. The brawling is fun. The graphics are pretty. Celeste, it's not a bad game, but it lost. This was an easy competition. Luigi's Mansion 3 and Hyper Sentinel. This was a pretty... surprisingly, Hyper Sentinel won. Hyper Sentinel is just a shmup where you fly back and forth, you can switch directions, and you have to clear all the targets and then fight the boss. Luigi's Mansion 3, sort of a puzzle game where you run around the hotel sucking up ghosts. It's got some action, some puzzles. I found it a little too puzzly, honestly. Hyper Sentinel was just pure fun in that 30 minutes. My wife was sad to hear me pick that one. But she's a big fan of Luigi's Mansion, but that was the way it went. And in the final showdown of the first round, it was Fast RMX and Puyo Puyo Tetris. Fast RMX is kind of an F-Zero high-speed racing game clone with a bit of a color switching or matching thing where when you hit a boost pad, you've got to be the right color to take advantage of it. Puyo Puyo Tetris is Tetris, and another game that Sega does a lot of called Puyo Puyo, which involves blobs falling on each other. They found a way to stick them together into one game. Both were really fun. Puyo Puyo took it because when the 30 minutes was up, I still wanted to keep playing. Fast was really fun too, though, and this was next to along with Yooka Laylee and Astral Chain. This was probably the toughest decision of the competition. Puyo Puyo Tetris proceeds. Since I didn't have a true even number of competitors for this competition, Lego Harry Potter might step back in and take on Puyo Puyo Tetris. I feel like it might deserve a second chance. Or if I pick up a new game in the next couple of weeks, like I am expecting. Next round, I will expect to probably put in a little more than 30 minutes, but I think I'm still going to try to restrict it to 40 minutes per game because there's still a lot of competing to do here. A lot of games to play, and I don't have a ton of time. Sorry, the next round would actually be C here, I guess. Round after that, I'll probably actually start going to a bit longer times for sure, maybe an hour. And in the final round, I'm going to just take the 4 finalists and put them all against each other instead of this sort of traditional tournament style of one-on-one. So we'll ultimately have 4 games left, and the best of those 4 will take the crown, and then I'll play it for a whole bunch of hours more. That's all I have to say about that. If I'm doing more of these in the future, you may hear me talking about video game business a bit. maybe trying to make some predictions, such as Nintendo Switch will be sold out this Christmas as long as Nintendo announces one lousy new game, and as long as coronavirus doesn't magically disappear. When I say one lousy new game, I mean something that's not just a remake. There's one prediction for you. And we'll also talk about business now and then. So feel free to follow me. I think it'll be a good time. And thank you for watching. Bye for now. Hey, no puppies barked.